faced with some campaigns. And I know that this work is not easy. And I know that you do it at great personal sacrifice because everybody here is busy. You all have busy lives. You got jobs to do, classes to attend. Yes, I know school's getting ready to start again, young people. We're fired up about school, right? Yeah. He's not so convinced. Trust me, we have a few of you in my house, too. We have our families to raise, so we are busy, but I also know awesome, cute man who happens to be my husband, our president, Barack Obama. And it's not just because we want to win an election, which we do and we will. Yes, we will. It's important to remember that we're doing this because of the values in America, everyone should have a fair shot. And that means that all of our kids, not just some of them, but all of them deserve good schools. All of them. All of our kids deserve the chance to attend college without a mountain of debt. All of our young people. We believe that in this country, everyone should do their fair share. That means that teachers and firefighters shouldn't pay higher tax rates than millionaires and billionaires. You don't have to wait until November the 6th to cast your ballot. You can vote early and become one of the very first people to help move our country forward. We could all be focused on that one state or that one city or even that one last precinct late into the night on election night. So when you vote early, we want you to ask one more person to vote early with you. Make sure that one nephew, that one coworker, that one neighbor votes early for Barack right along with you. So Iowa, be the first. Should pay off. And that if you work hard, you shouldn't go bankrupt just because you get sick. In America, you shouldn't lose your home because someone loses a job. And after a lifetime of hard work, you should be able to retire with some dignity and security. And what we have to remember is that these are basic American values. You know, this is the foundation upon which this country was built. They're the values that so many of us were raised with, including myself. And yes, I tell my story everywhere I go because I'm proud of where I came from. White House kitchen garden and gardens across America. In this book, I share my experiences starting a garden at the White House, and I offer tips on how to start your own garden, whether in a few pots on your windowsill or out in your backyard. You'll also hear the stories of people in every corner of our country who are using gardens to feed their families and communities, to educate our children, and to build a healthier future for the next generation. I hope that you will be as inspired by these stories as I was.
It's nice to meet you.
I like to come and hang out. Number one, to bring cookies. Anybody like cookies here? I'm not sure if you have any cookies here. Just checking. And one other thing I come bearing, we do this really cool Easter egg roll. All of you to come.
That would be your extras. I get it.
I have one last surprise for you guys. Kelly, it's great to see you, and it's great to be hanging out with you and all the Google followers. I feel like I should have on my shorts and be hanging out with some pillows or something, but here we are in the Blue Room, so I'm delighted to be here. Hi, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. First of all, Keishan, I just want to congratulate you on such a huge accomplishment, and I know it's been a challenging journey, but you look amazing, and more importantly, I know you feel amazing. What I would say to young kids, you know, and I would not just talk to the kids, but I would talk to the people in their lives, their parents, their teachers. I mean, the first thing that we want to make sure that we do is not make this an issue about looks. We should really talk to kids about how they feel inside, so that we're not just dealing with the physical manifestations of the challenge, but we're really tapping into what's going on inside that head of that child. And then we want to talk about ways to make it fun. That's a great question, and you know, we've been talking about this all throughout the tour. Secretary Duncan, our Secretary of Education, who's a wonderful was showing me all facets of his character. So we went to the Art Institute.
Guys out there,
art.
it impresses people. It shows.
So he showed his cultural side, and then we took a nice long walk
Kinda
along
romantic.
Michigan Avenue. And did we go to the movie first?
Well, yeah, we didn't have dinner. We actually had lunch
Oh, we had lunch
at the Art Institute. There's
That's
a little
right.
courtyard with a
Yeah.
little fountain.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
And then we walked.
Then we walked. So our first meal was a lovely lunch. It was very nice.
And then we went to see Do the Right Thing.
Spike Lee had just come out.
Had just come out.
Showed all the sides. He was hip, cutting edge, cultural, sensitive. The fountain, nice touch. The walk, patient. You had to work for this. 1,200 submissions, and when it got to the final round, our judges spent hours tasting the dishes. So it wasn't just what it sounded like. They actually tasted each and every one of these dishes. I know, Sam, you did a little tasting. A lot of tasting. That's a lot of hard work eating 1,200 submissions worth of food. And they spent hours trying to decide which ones were the healthiest and the tastiest and the most fun to cook. Those tasty, delightful treats. We're going to try some of those. That's going to be our lunch. But before we get to the business of eating, I thought that I would introduce two very special people here since we are in a room full of chefs. I thought that you would love to meet the two chefs, main chefs in our lives. Executive Chef Chris Comerford and Executive Pastry Chef Bill Yassis. So you'll be happy to know that you had some of the top chefs in this country working to prepare your recipes. They've been slaving for hours. I would have helped you, but I was getting my makeup done. But Chris and Bill and our whole crew, they've played such a huge part in Let's Move. They help with the garden, they lead efforts in the garden, all of our chefs, all of our staff. They are so bought into you guys. And you all give us that kind of energy. Just know that. You guys inspire us here at the White House to keep doing what we need to do to keep this message at the forefront. And I just want to thank Bill and Chris for being so terrific and for working so hard to make this lunch such a success. And with that, I think we can start eating. How about that? All right, let's eat.
Hello. In my role as First Lady, I want to focus my attention on where policy and people intersect. Myself as the mother of 2 young daughters. I'll never forget the night 8 years ago when our baby daughter Sasha just wouldn't stop crying. And we knew something was wrong, but we didn't know what. So we called our pediatrician and we met him early the next morning. He examined her and he told us that she might have meningitis. And then he sent us straight to the emergency room. You see, that moment in our lives flashes through my mind when we talk about healthcare reform. How if we hadn't had insurance, if we couldn't afford a doctor, we might have waited until it was too late. Our daughter could have lost her hearing or possibly even her life. And if we hadn't had good insurance, insurance that gave us the coverage that we needed, we could have been saddled with medical bills that we might not have been able to afford. It's about how tough it can be when dealing with insurance companies gets in the way of caring for those we love. When a tragic illness strikes or when a simple checkup turns into something not so simple. Insurance headaches are something that all of us have had to deal with at some point in our lives. Barack's plan will make sure that every family gets to have the same peace of mind that we've had. Good things about the plan is if you already have insurance that you like, then you're all set. You keep that insurance and you keep your doctors. This plan just puts in place some basic rules of the road to protect you from abuses and unfair practices. That's what's at stake. And that's what we're fighting for. That's what this healthcare debate is all about, particularly for women who are raising kids, taking care of families. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, and let's get the word out about what's at stake. We all need to work together to make this a reality. Thank you. It's hard to believe that it's been 1 year since we planted the 3 sisters in the White House garden to help kick off our Let's Move in Indian Country initiative. And this is such an important effort. We know that children in American Indian and Alaskan Native communities experience higher rates of obesity. We know they're more likely to develop related diseases like type 2 diabetes than the national averages. But we also know that there are so many people in these communities who want to make a difference for the health of their kids. And that's what has defined Let's Move in Indian Country in our first year. We've seen tribal nations develop food policy councils to examine the food habits of their communities. Schools have reintroduced lacrosse programs. Native businesses are adding healthy, traditional foods like buffalo meat into school lunches. The Bureau of Indian Education implemented a new health and wellness policy for its schools, and nearly 10,000 people across Indian Country earned a Presidential Active Lifestyle Award for getting up and exercising. So we have come a very long way, but we know that there's more left to do. And that's where all of you come in. We need your help to get more schools serving healthy foods and finding new ways to get kids to get active. We need more doctors and nurses talking to parents and kids about their nutrition habits. We need more leaders bringing people together from businesses, government, nonprofits, and faith groups to create solutions that work for their communities. Because in the end, that's really what Let's Move is all about. It's not about what happens in Washington. It's about people just like all of you taking action on behalf of your kids, your community, and our country. And this first year of Let's Move in Indian Country has convinced me again and again that if we keep stepping up, if we keep innovating and getting people involved, then we can give our children the healthy futures they deserve. So thank you all for everything you've already done, and I look forward to working with you in the months and years ahead.